Hello and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dr. Westman. This episode is brought to you by Adapt Your Life Academy. And today we're going to be chatting about Dr. Westman's brand of keto and why it has to work first time round. We also have a bonus for you, and it's Dr. Westman's free 10 things you need to know to lose fat on keto. And we'll put a link for you in the description. How's it going, Eric?
Great. How are you, Glenn?
Very, very good. Thank you. So, Eric, when we speak of your brand of keto, what exactly do you mean?
Well, there are a whole lot of people talking about keto now, aren't there? It's overwhelming, and a lot of people don't know where to start. And we've been in this business, this world, the diet keto world now, for over 20 years at Duke. At Duke University, where I am an associate professor of medicine and director of the Keto Medicine Clinic. So, we've seen an explosion of information and people being leaders and having people follow on Instagram, on Facebook. It's been really amazing. And there are a lot of great places where you can get information. But you see, since I was involved with this now for 15 years in a clinical setting where people come to me as a doctor, I've had to learn the ins and outs of how to do this with many, many different people, different types of backgrounds, different socioeconomic levels, different personalities. And so in a clinic, if I don't have it work, people don't come back. So the short answer is, if my brand didn't work, I wouldn't have a job.
So now you spoke about the fact that you've been at Duke and in a clinical setting for, nearly 20 years now. To help our audience, give us a snapshot of the types of conditions that your patients typically present with.
Well, and this is one of the reasons why keto, low carb, high fat, LCHF, a different name for a similar thing, can be so easy and effective, is that if you don't have these other medical problems, you might not even have to do keto perfectly. You can do it every now and then, and so you want to be careful, what you're trying to accomplish with a keto diet. Now, if you have medical problems like diabetes, pre-diabetes, PCOS, fatty liver, medical problems, or you have, say, 50, 100, 200 pounds, 300 pounds to lose, it's a journey that you're going to have to do for a while, then you're going to want to do an effective, what I call the prescription strength of keto, because any other version that's not quite as low on the carbohydrate might not work for you. And so you might learn from an internet source, from someone who's young and otherwise healthy and didn't really need to do keto in the first place. So you want to find a teacher who actually has experience with people that have your issues. And so at a medical clinic at Duke, I've been treating people with all sorts of medical problems with this type of keto diet. So I know it will work even if you do have this other complicating factors, being on medications and things like that. And it's a common source of confusion for people when they follow someone who's young, otherwise healthy, and that style of keto didn't work for them. And so you got to be careful of where your information is coming from. Does that guru, the doctor, or it could be just an individual, an influencer who did it themselves a certain way, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. And you want to try to find a teacher that has that experience with a wide array of people and problems. And again, my work that I do for a living at a university-based private practice relies on people coming back to me for the return visits so that I can bill insurance. I bill within the insurance and Medicare and Medicaid system. So I've learned to focus on the most important things. I don't get distracted by things that won't work products that might or might not work and cost money, that complicates things, machines that you have to go buy. No, you don't have to do any of that, because most of my patients aren't going to do that. So I had to learn a system that's pretty flexible to help a lot of different types of people and medical conditions.
Now, as you mentioned, and we mentioned again, nearly 20 years you've been doing this. Now, has your diet changed or evolved over those 20 years? I know that originally you kind of took your cues from the late Dr. Robert Atkins. How has your method evolved over the last 20 years?
Well, when you really step back, I learned from Dr. Atkins, Dr. Eads, who the two husband and wife, Dr. Eads, who wrote Protein Power and had a clinical practice using so I sought out doctors who were using this, not only writing books, but they were using it in their clinical practices. And a common theme that really has maintained until today is that I keep the carbs very, very low until you're near your goal. And that's a common source of confusion, because the diet books all say here, the Atkins book said do 2 weeks of the strict and then add back carbs. We don't do that in the clinic now. And in our latest book, End Your Carb Confusion, we explain that if you need to be on that lowest level of carbs in these different phases, it's okay to stay there for a long time. But looking back, I was careful to learn from doctors. I'm a doctor, I'm an internist and an obesity medicine specialist, doctors who had their own practices, so they had to develop approaches that had to work too. Excuse me.
No problem.
And I'm finding that a lot of people today might not have learned at that level of detail.
And what about the fat? The fat has changed. So a lot of people believe one of the big things that have maybe evolved over the years is that you should be consuming large amounts of fat, and your method is not consuming large amounts of fat.
Yeah, that's been an interesting thing to watch. Again, I've been watching this for a while and being blissfully happy within a clinical practice at Duke. We haven't really been on the internet in a big way until recently. And so we were known as the clinical center that did the research to back up all of these other people who are out there now on YouTube and Instagram and all the other social media sites, Facebook, for example. The approach that we use has always focused on proper nutrition, which means protein coming first, not fat. And so the kind of like the old game we played as children, where you whisper into someone's ear and they go around the room and it comes out the next totally different message. The keto message became this: eat fat, drink ketones, and you need to have ketones in the oils and MCT. And no, we've always taught that protein comes first. And if you're trying to lose body fat, you don't want to eat or drink fat. You want the ketones to come from your body fat. So that's probably one of the most common misconceptions today, is that the keto teaching says you need to eat fat to get ketones, or you need to drink oils and drink ketones to get ketones. No, your body generates its own ketones from its body fat. And that was known now, for the last 50 years by these doctors who developed these methods. And then Dr. Yancey and I at Duke are the team that really kind of formalized what had been done for a while into the medical research setting. And our papers go back to the year 2002. So we've been studying and publishing about this for a couple decades now.
Something quite interesting is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think about a year ago, or maybe just over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, you changed the name of your clinic. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we started with the Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic, and there's a popular textbook called Lifestyle Medicine. And, I'm in an academic setting. I'm at a university. I have to hold up all the standards of whatever the peers in my university would want me to do. So, I'm not off on my own. I'm within a community of doctors, and Duke is a great place because they're very evidence-based, so that if you generate your own research like we did, they're going to respect that, even if other people don't. And so lifestyle medicine is what we chose. Now there's a textbook on ketogenic diets and keto treatments. So thinking, being more, I guess, more honest about what I ask people to do, or more clear, I really just use a keto diet. I don't use the other aspects of lifestyle medicine, which are exercise, activity, stress management. And that's largely because people coming to me today are unable to exercise, or they're unable to afford complicated psychological stress management programs. So really just using the keto diet can be very, very effective. So I changed the name of the clinic to reflect really what we do, and the power of it, and the idea that there are textbooks now that support the use of a keto diet at this kind of level.
So what is the name of the clinic now?
The Duke Keto Medicine Clinic is the name of the clinic. Yeah.
Fantastic. Eric, tell me, how would someone learn your prescription method? I know that you're co-founder of the Adapt Your Life Academy. It's been extremely successful. We've only launched that since November last year. And we now have had over 2,000 people going through your academy, learning this method. Do you want to just speak a little bit about that?
Sure. Now, I've been using a keto diet for a long time. I think it's healthy eating, and it's appropriate, fitting, if you don't have medical problems or on medication. You can do this on your own with the proper teaching about, again, that it's not oils and things, purchasing things, it's real food. I think it's fine for anyone to do, even children, as long as you're not on a medicine that might become too strong. The doctor's role is to help you get off medication safely. That's called de-prescribing, DE-prescribing or unprescribing. But so, I mean, we have a lot of ways for people to learn, and we're trying to find multiple teaching methods to meet the needs of different learners. So there's as simple as following a list of foods can be obtained at drwestmanonline.com. It's known as page 4 out on the internet. But that's not enough for a lot of people who want more information. We have now the End Your Carb Confusion book, which is available at any major bookseller, that if you like to read, and we don't make it complicated. Our job is to try to simplify things, keep it as simple as possible. And then the master classes that we have at the Adapt Your Life Academy, if you like to learn by video and printouts and want to be in a group of people who are doing this. So Adapt Your Life Academy really has several different methods to teach people now, which I think is fantastic. We hope to even develop more as time goes on.
Fantastic, Eric. Well, we really appreciate your time as always, and thank you for giving clarity on the topic today. That's all that we have time for today. Guys, don't forget about your bonus is Dr. Westman's free top 10 things that you need to know to lose fat on a keto diet. And as mentioned, the link will be in the description. If you would like to learn more about Adapt Your Life Academy and our upcoming courses, we've got a few new courses coming out this year. You can find us on adaptyourlifeacademy.com. And we run the Keto Made Simple Masterclass every 6 to 8 weeks. If you go on to adaptyourlifeacademy.com, you can click on the waiting list, and you can be alerted the next time that course is available. Eric, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. We look forward to meeting you again and chatting next week.
If you like this video, you're going to love our Adapt Your Life Academy. So click on the link in the description to find out more.